Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Straight Outta Boston here, aka the King of Boston, and today we're back for episode 14 of my MLB 14 The Show, Road to the Show. Today we are covering the mid-season portion of the 2015 season. Saul Goodman, third baseman for the Tampa Bay Rays, still not an everyday starter, playing pretty much anywhere he can in the infield, including first base, second base, shortstop, third base, all the good stuff. But we're getting the episode started with a pinch hitting opportunity here against the Boston Red Sox. Casey Jansen on the mound, and he's going to induce a 6-3 or a 4-3 putout, and that will be a ground out for Saul Goodman. So he goes 0 for 1 this game. We're going to get another pinch hit opportunity in the following game, and we end up going 0 for 1 again. That one came in the 8th inning. So next game is going to be a full game appearance. We go 0 for 4 with 2 flyouts and a fielder's choice and a ground out. So not a great start for Saul Goodman, 0 for 6 to start things out here in this episode. You can see the Rays have slipped to 500. We are now 9 games back the Yankees for first place. Just still trying to tread water here and try to, make some sort of run to fight for a wild card spot. But Goodman's going to do what he can here, getting a 3-run home run off of Andrew Miller right there. That will, I believe, actually I don't know what the score was, so I'm not even going to try and pretend like act like it. But there's a home run for Saul Goodman, and talked about it before, but Goodman does project as a power hitter at the major league level. So if we can see an uptick in his power, that would be great. Now, obviously, if the average stays in the 220, 230 area, it's not going to be that great, so to say. But still, if you can see some part of his game start to come around, it's always a good sign. And if he can provide you anything more than he is right now, because at this point he's really not providing power or contact or anything behind the plate, or at the plate, I should say. So if he's giving you anything, power, contact, whatever, I think you'll take it if you're Joe Madden and the Rays. So there's a nice barehanded play by Goodman, whose defense, as I've talked about before, has really improved. Pretty much every, because it's only been 2 seasons, but it's really improved since the time we started this road to the show. So there's a 2 RBI double off of Koji Uehara for Saul Goodman. He picks up his, I believe, second hit of the game, or maybe it was the first, I'm not too sure. And that wasn't Koji Uehara. I don't know why, because I get a hit off of Koji Uehara later in the episode. That's why I thought it was him, but I don't know who that is actually. That's going to be another gap shot, though. That one gets over the head of the center fielder, and I'm going to get in there with my second double of the ball game. And now here's Koji Uehara on the mound, and we are going to take him deep to the opposite field. He hung that splitter right there, and I put that one to the left field bleachers. A 3-run home run. You can see can't throw that pitch above the belt, and he pretty much threw it out the belt, so that's enough for Saul to drive it the opposite way and get a 3-run home run out of it to extend the Rays' lead. It is now 12-2. This was a blowout victory for Tampa Bay, and we pick up 3 hits on the day, going 3 for 5, pair of doubles, 3 extra base hits, 5 RBI. Great day all around. Probably one of Saul's best games as a pro so far. He actually gets the player of the game, which I don't think that's our first as a major league pro, but certainly might be our second or third or something. I have not had too many of these to show off so far, but either way, you can take a look at the final line here, 3 for 5, as I said. So hopefully that can be a bit of a starting point for Saul. Try to spark him a little bit and see if he can get going. Later in the week, we're going up against the Minnesota, almost the Timberwolves, the Minnesota Twins, and we're going to be able to get a solo home run there, pulling that one into the right field bleachers off of Matt Belisle, the former Colorado Rocky. I don't know if he's still on the Rockies in real life, but he's on the Twins in this, and we get a home run off of him right there. That time it's a solo job, so that's a nice hit by Goodman, and you can see the power's really coming around, but you're not seeing too much else outside of the power, and you might be able to tell by a lot of these box scores. We get a home run, but we go 1 for 4, so the contact hitting and the average and all that stuff really isn't there yet, and you can see we followed up with an 0 for 2. We came in and pinch hit in the 10th, and then could not get anything going. So later in the episode here, we're gonna go up against the Los Angeles Angels. They got a slap single the other way right there. That'll be a base hit. So there's a rare sight, a single for Saul Goodman. Not something he's had a lot of lately. We would end up coming around and scoring and winning that game. So here you can take a look at his 2015 stats so far. Only in 236. It's a little bit up from what it was last episode, but there's a ground ball. That's going to be a 6-4-3 double play. So trying to document Saul really not finding his stride at the plate just yet. Despite the power starting to come around, you can see 3 ground outs, including a double play that game. So big disparity between his slugging and his average, though, as you saw in that. And you'll see the slugging actually keep going up as the episode goes along. And when you see a guy who's slugging almost 200 points more than his batting average, you know that he's got some really raw power. That when he's hitting the ball, it's going a long way. But if you're still hitting 220, like a little bit more than that, and the OBP is not really very high, just because I don't tend to walk a lot or work counts too often in Road to the Show. But there we get an opposite field home run off of Chad Jenkins, the starting pitcher for the Houston Astros. This came in the top of the first. That's a 2-run job, and that makes it 2-0 Tampa Bay. So, a nice hit there by Saul, and we're going to go into the bottom of the first 5-0 game here. And here's another nice play by Saul, making it on the run. I fired a second there. Didn't actually know there was 2 outs, so another 1 for 4 though. Another 1 for 4 with a home run. That seems to be starting to become a common theme here, a common occurrence, or a reoccurring theme, I guess. You could use any one of those, I suppose. But Bud Norris on the mound here for the Baltimore Orioles, 3-0 Rays. And Saul's going to try and make it 4-0 here. Drives this one to deep left field. That one is back, and that one is gone. A solo home run for Saul. He'll touch them all, and that will make it 4-0 Tampa Bay on top after that solo job. You can see that pitch was left up in the zone, and Saul is all over that one. So another 1 for 4 though, another 1 for 4 with the home run, and you know, based on the title, you might have been able to tell, but we're starting to hit a little bit like Adam Dunn here. And now, you know, I always hear that a lot from people, like, oh, he's just like another Adam Dunn or something. Like, I've heard that about Jose Abreu and Junior Lake and stuff. And Adam Dunn in his prime is he's a really good player. He was never quite the, you know, a 300 hitter or anything, but he was able to hit it like a 260 clip, and his OBP was in the upper 300s, and obviously the power was always there. I think he had a couple 40 home run seasons, so, you know, but if you're talking kind of 2014 Adam Dunn, that's sort of where Saul's headed right now. Not a lot of contact, not a ton of OBP, but a high slugging. We're hitting for a ton of power. We're striking out a lot. Not as much as, you know, your prototypical Adam Dunn might, but still the strikeouts are higher than what they usually are for me personally. I don't tend to strike out too much in this game, but you know, they've been relatively prevalent so far in Saul's second season here. So there's a 1 for 3. Once again, a one-hit game with a home run. So either way, we're into the top of the first inning of the game against the Red Sox, and here I was really trying to take advantage of playing in Fenway Park. We're going up against Drake Britton in this game, so I get to bat right-handed, and I get to hopefully pull the ball into the Green Monster. So, or not into, but off of the Green Monster, which obviously is a huge tool for right-handed and left-handed hitters. But anyway, it looks like I was trying to do it a little bit too much here. I end up sort of getting under that one, and that's caught at the wall by the left fielder. And I'm only able to get 1 hit. You can see I flew out a couple times. I was really trying to get the ball off the wall. Really utilize that part of the ballpark. That is one of the more hitter-friendly areas of any field in baseball. So we end up following it up with an 0 for 5 performance against the Rays or against the Orioles, and Joe Madden is just lighting us up right now. 0 for 5 with the strikeout in the ninth, a big strikeout at that. So anyway, take a look at these interesting stats. So in the month of July, we end up only getting 35 at-bats. We go 5 for 35, so that's 5 hits, and we had 3 home runs out of those 5 hits. So that sort of tells the story, really. That's kind of the story of the episode. Not a lot of contact, but a ton of pop right now. I mean, 3 home runs and 35 at-bats, you'll take that any day of the week. That is almost a home run every 10 at-bats, which is pretty gosh darn good when you think about the average player will get about 650 at-bats in a Major League season. If you're getting a home run every 10 at-bats, that's 65 home runs. So let's just sit on that one for a moment. But we come out in our next game, our first game of August, a chance at a clean slate, and Saul is coming out red hot right now. We got a double early on in the game, and this one he takes upper deck at Arlington Field, or at what's it called, Rangers Ballpark in Arlington or something like that, something in Arlington. But either way, that is, I believe, a 2-run home run, and now top of the 7th, 5-5 game. Saul's going to take this one back up the middle. That'll be a line drive base hit, advance the runner up to second. It's now first and second here, and a chance to give the Rays the lead. So Saul comes out in he almost matches his hit total from the month of July in just one game alone. Gets 3 hits here, but take a look at the standings. The Rays have fallen back to last place. 15.5 back. Next game we follow up with an 0 for 4. Not a good performance out of Saul, and it looks like maybe that 3-8 game is a bit of an aberration. We take that one down the right field line, though. That's just going to stay fair. That'll get into the corner right there. Goodman rounding first, heading for 2, will be in there safely, and it's going to be a double for Saul Goodman off of the Cleveland Indians. Now, later in the game, Zach McAllister still on the bunk. Or on the bump. I always say bunk, but it's bump. 42 Indians. That's going to be a base hit back up the middle. So we get on base again. Second time on base for this game. That's always good. If you can get on base multiple times in a game, you'll take that. But the Indians come away with another win. The Rays lose again, 9-2. We pick up 2 hits, but Odorizzi cannot pitch effectively. The Indians got 9 runs in that game. So top of the 8th here against the Oakland A's, and this was not a great game. This was a game I pinch hit in the 8th inning. We strike out there at Scott Kazmir. Now it is Eric O'Flaherty in. Top of the 10th, still 0-0, 1-2 count. I think you guys might know where this is going. That's going to be another strikeout in the dirt. a sinker right there that I just could not read. And I was really having trouble reading the low pitches that Casimir and Flaherty kept throwing me. So I go for 3, 2 strikeouts, not a great game. And again, the strikeouts and just not being able to put bat on ball, and it's really starting to compound at this point. So here's our old friend Matt Belisle, and it's time for the Better Call Saul moment of the episode. See if he can come through here. Belisle we had a home run off of earlier in the episode. Let's see if we can try to do it again here and tie up this game. Well, that's a hanger, and it's not going to be a home run, but we're going to get on base, and yeah, I know. Kind of a mediocre Better Call Saul moment of the episode. But the way this episode went, there weren't too many clutch moments, and we couldn't even score there, so we ended up losing that game again 5-4. And that's pretty much going to do it. So take one final look at the stats. You can see, look at the disparity between his slugging percentage and his batting average, over 200 points. That is quite he's hitting for power. Like I said, he's just not putting bat on ball. But either way, that's going to do it for me. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy. And this is Matt. Peace.